So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. In this video, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a good one as well, because I'm going to be detailing exactly how you can start and scale an SMMA, a social media marketing agency, to $10,000 per month in 2021. A couple concepts have changed since the last time I've done one of these videos. I think I do maybe 2 of them a year. But yeah, since the last one I've done, a couple things have changed, and I think it's going to massively help the growth of your agency. And really, it doesn't matter where you're at, right? Whether you're at 0 a month, whether you're at 5,000 a month, or maybe you're even at 10,000 a month, you're going to be able to pull very actionable concepts from this video, and I'm very excited for you to go through it. Now, as always, just before we jump into the video, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. These videos do take me quite a while to build, especially this one, given the length of it, given how in detail I'm going to go. It does take quite a while, but it only takes a split second for you to smash that like button, so make sure you go ahead and do that. And with that being said, let's jump straight into the training. So look, I'm not going to hold you any longer. I'm not going to try and prolong it any longer than it actually needs to be. I want this video to be as valuable as humanly possible. So let's jump straight into the slides. As I said, how to start and scale an SMMA to 10K per month in 2021. Honestly, scaling an agency to $10,000 per month is very easy if you leverage exactly what we go through in this video. And to be honest, as I said at the start, even if you're at 10,000 a month, do not think that this video won't be valuable, because it really is. Now, for those of you who don't know me, let me quickly introduce myself, because I understand that this video may attract new people, and you may be asking yourself, why am I talking about how to scale an agency to 10,000 per month or whatever it is? Let me quickly introduce myself, and then I want to go through the birth of Batson Consulting itself, which is my own agency. So my name is Kai Bax. As I'm sure you can probably tell, I was very innovative with my agency name, Batson Consulting. And essentially what Batson Consulting is it's a social media marketing agency that helps e-commerce and info product brands scale to 7 and 8 figures. We essentially add an extra 1 to 5 million per year to our clients' bottom line through the use of Facebook ads and really paid traffic overall. We're now delving into Google ads, we're delving into YouTube ads, etc. And that's really our goal, right? To add 1 to 5 million to e-commerce brands and info product brands bottom line through the use of paid traffic, and really ramping up via paid traffic. And we're doing that on a routine basis. You know, we've got the case studies to back it up, which is why I have such a bold claim for my agency. Now, I also own 2 education programs. One is called the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency Program, and the other one is called Centurion Agency. So the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency Program takes people from 0 to $10,000 per month, and Centurion Agency takes people from 10,000 a month to 50, 60, 70, 80K a month, which is the stage that my agency is at right now. So in the Centurion Agency Program, obviously it's much higher level. It's for high level agency owners, but in there I basically give away everything that I'm doing in Batson Consulting, from SOPs to team building to hiring and vetting to service delivery to organization structure, all that type of stuff. Now, here's the birth of Batson Consulting, however, right? So I've built my agency now to, as I say, I'm currently sat around 50, 60K a month, right, with my agency. And I've built that from the ground up. Now, the birth of Batson Consulting, however, started pretty early, I would say, in my life, right? I very quickly realized during my schooling years, right? It was during school that I realized that the traditional route was just never going to be for me. And so as a result, I started to, look into other ventures. And at which point, as I'm sure it's majority of people's kind of trajectory into running an agency, majority of people started out in Shopify dropshipping, and to be honest, I was no different. Now, one thing that I immediately noticed after starting dropshipping was that there's a lot more to successful advertising than just the ads themselves. This is a concept that you can never really truly understand until you go through it, until you actually experience it firsthand yourself. And so, things like, sales processes, product quality, product market fit, creative capacity, customer support, product operations, etc. All these things are hugely important factors in order to run ads at the highest possible level. However, when dropshipping, you're kind of only focusing on the advertising. It's kind of only about the ads or, the website or whatever, but there's so much more that goes into it. And I very quickly realized how important those factors were to actually running, the most successful ads that a human could ever run. And so really it was at that point that I transitioned to building a marketing agency that works closely with the most innovative, fast growth and coolest e-commerce and info product businesses on earth that all have those necessary necessary foundations in place. You know, I got to a point in my drop shipping journey where I realized that marketing was only one part of it. And so I wanted to then really just partner up with these amazing, innovative, fast growth brands that had all those other parts in place: customer support, creative capacity, sales processes, product market fit, product quality, you know, product operations, all those things. I wanted to partner up with brands of that nature who already had all of that in place, and we just triple down on what we do best, which is obviously running the ad side of it. And at that point, once those two marry, I mean, the results are just absolutely insane, which is obviously very evident with the results that we generate our clients. And so from there, I started an education company, because I then, you know, started to see the perplexing results that I was generating for both myself and my clients, right? Meaning myself for the agency, right? The results that I was getting myself for the agency, and then further the results that my agency was generating our clients, right? So from there, as I say, I started to see those perplexing results that we was generating. And so I started to document my findings, learnings, failures, and successes on my YouTube channel, which is obviously the channel that you're watching this video on right now. And after seeing the hunger for a program that actually took people from 0 to 100K, I then started to build the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, which has quickly turned into one of the leading ecom SMMA programs on earth that routinely produces six and multi-six-figure agency owners. As I kind of touched on at the start, that's kind of what I also have now added to my repertoire, is an education company that has two programs essentially. The first one is the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, takes people from 0 to 6 figures with their agency, and then Centurion Agency that takes people from 6 figures to basically 7 figures, right? 50, 60, 70, and then 80K a month, which is obviously 7 figures or 7-figure a year run rate. Now, on the topic of the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, you guys know I never run sales, right? I've run one sale very recently, actually. It was for Black Friday, and it went off. Everybody absolutely loved it. However, there was still quite a few people who didn't bite the bullet, because they didn't believe me that when I said I'm not, you know, I never do sales, I was being serious, right? As soon as I said the deadline for that sale ending, as soon as it came, I ended the sale no matter what. There was no exceptions to people who messaged me after or anything like that. It ended. However, due to the ridiculous high demand, I am running one more sale. It's going to last for 2 weeks, right? One more sale on the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. It's going to last for 2 weeks. It is a new year flash sale that I'm basically doing. I've not hyped it up in any way, shape, or form. I just literally recently decided that I'm going to do it for 2 weeks only. You can join the leading ecom SMMA program on earth for 20% off, which actually equates to the program coming down from $497 down to $397. Okay, now I know the price tag almost seems like it takes away from the value of the program. You probably think $397, the program, it's not that good, but the reason it's so ridiculously cheap is because I know back when I was starting out my own agency, I simply didn't have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to buy a program with. I physically didn't have that type of money to spend on a program, so I had to learn the hard way. I had to go, you know, I had to fail unnecessarily just so I could learn to then make the right decisions and whatnot. Whereas what a program does, what the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program does, is it gives you the winning formulas straight off the bat. It gives you the proven concepts for, you know, outreach, proven methods for service delivery, for team building, for actually scaling your agency to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month. We got multiple students who are past multiple six figures, who are past $200,000 a year with their agency as a direct result of the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. So don't want to ramble on too much about this, but I did just want to let you know, one-time sale. Okay, I seriously never ever run sales on this program. I've literally ran 2 in the lifetime of this program, and when I say it ends at the end of the 2 weeks, it strictly ends, and I won't be doing any more. And I'm actually going to be looking at increasing the program in the new year as well. So one-time sale, as I say, 20% off. You can enroll now for $397. Click the first link in the description. It's going to take you to the enrollment page, and it's all automatically discounted at checkout. You don't need to do anything. You just need to enroll into the leading ecom SMMA program for the cheapest price you'll ever be able to join the program. So with that being said, I'm super excited to see you inside of the community, and let's keep going with this video, and let's really jump into the juicy part of this video, okay, which is $10,000 monthly recurring agency. Okay, how do you do it? Well, to be honest, it's these 4 things on the screen. Now, this is going to make it seem really simple, but I'm going to break each step down because each step does go a lot more in detail. But to be honest, this is the 4 pillars to running a highly successful agency. On the screen, I've got 10,000 per month, but to be honest, this is what I'm implementing right now to my own agency that's producing a 60,000 a month agency, right? 50, 60,000 a month agency. This is what I'm doing. Okay, there's 4 keys to it: product market fit, client acquisition, service delivery, and team building. Okay, I wouldn't really say any of these are more important than the other, right? There's not really one that is most important. I would say service delivery and team building maybe are slightly more important than product market fit and client acquisition, but it's really only at the point when all of these kind of come together and they team up together. It's at that point that 10,000 a month agency is just the most simple thing you'll ever do, but it's only once these things come together. Okay, so let's break each step down. First things first, we got product market fit. Okay, and that breaks down into identifying your niche and delivering on the highest level possible for that niche. Okay, you need to be able to deliver results for your clients. If you cannot deliver results, you're not going to have a high retention rate. If you don't have a high retention rate, you're not going to make a lot of money. Okay, it's going to be physically impossible to get any recurring revenue, which is really the true beauty of running an agency. So let's have a look at what niche should you work with, right? Well, first of all, there's two types of niches. You have the local lead gen niche, which is essentially any local business near you. Okay, things like gyms, restaurants, spas, dentists, etc., doctors, whatnot. And there's also the e-commerce niche. This is the other niche, right? Which is the e-commerce niche, which is essentially any brand that sells online. You know, when you go online, you search whatever and you get an ad for this product, you know, and you go on there, you buy it, it gets delivered to your house. Any brand online that does that process right there, that, you know, you go onto their website, you buy, it gets delivered to your house, that's an e-commerce brand. Now, what should you choose? Well, to be honest, there's no physical, logical reason. There's no logical reason on earth as to why you should choose to work with the local lead gen niche over the e-commerce niche. Okay, the e-commerce niche is hands down the best SMMA niche to get into for a plethora of reasons, and really here are just a few of the reasons. Okay, number one, the world is your oyster, right? When I say the world is your oyster, I literally mean the entire world is your oyster. Okay, e-commerce businesses are 100% based online, and so their playing field is online. That's what they do. That's why they feel most comfortable. And on the topic of feeling comfortable, when it comes to signing clients, the client wants to feel entirely comfortable in the transaction. And so when you sign an e-com client in the US and you're based in the UK, you know, you're not going to have any issues because it's all online. It's all based online. You know, the transaction is online, and that's completely fine for an e-com client because their playing field is online. Their entire business has been built off the back of online transactions. And so that's completely fine. Conversely, the founder of a local business, right? So the founder of a gym, a restaurant, whatever, has built their entire customer base off the back of face-to-face interaction. And so when it comes to them, when it comes to them choosing a service provider for their company, they'll want that same face-to-face interaction, which severely limits your agency's growth to your local area. I hope that kind of I hope that makes sense, right? A gym founder will want to bring on a service provider, meaning an agency, to run their ads with somebody that they can see face-to-face, they can physically shake their hand, and that's because, you know, that's what makes them feel comfortable. That's their playing field. That's what they're comfortable with. And so, you know, nobody's going to pay you $5,000 a month, $4,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever it is. Nobody's going to pay you that amount of money if they don't feel comfortable. And a local business feels comfortable when they can shake your hand, they can see you face to face and whatnot. Whereas an e-com brand, you know, they've probably never shook any of their employees' hands, right? Because just their playing field is online and they're 100% comfortable online. So when it comes to them choosing a service provider, they're 100% comfortable working with somebody in the UK if they're based in the US, or somebody based in Australia, even though that they're based in Canada, for example, whatever it is. So that means that the world is your oyster. You can basically have any e-commerce brand in the world as your client, and you're going to be very easily be able to sell them because they're just comfortable working with people who are not in their, you know, local area or whatever. Next is more per client. Okay, and this is probably the biggest reason why the e-com niche is the best, is because you can make far more per client, right? So because e-commerce businesses sell worldwide, this means that you can generate a far higher return for your e-com clients, because again, you're not limited to a specific radius within a certain area like you are with local biz clients, okay? This consequently means that for e-com, you can charge much higher retainers, which is, a retainer is basically your fee, than you can for a local client. And I mean much higher retainers, okay? Right, so for example, for an e-com client, you could quite easily charge $7,000 per client per month, very easily. You know, and the only reason you can charge that very easily is because you can very easily bring in an e-com client over $100,000 per month for each client. So yes, they're paying you $7,000 a month, but you're also bringing them in $100,000 a month. So it's very easy to do that, right? Whereas a local business, you physically cannot make them more than like, I don't know, 3 to 6K a month. So that means that you physically cannot charge more than like $1,000 a month, maybe even $700, $800 a month, right? Maybe $1,500 if you're very, very lucky. So that's the other reason you physically can't charge past a certain point for local business, because for example, if you've got a gym client, that gym client's ideal customer, the people that you can run ads to, they're in like I don't know, maybe a 10-kilometer radius, 15-kilometer radius of that gym. Nobody's going to travel, more than half an hour to go to the gym, right? So you're limited to a certain radius around that client's gym, which means you can't physically get more results than what's in that radius, right? What's there for the taking in that radius. Whereas for an e-commerce business, right, you've got the entire world to run ads to and get results for, which means the amount of results, the volume of results, the purchase conversion value for an e-commerce brand. We have clients where we bring them in over 200,000 a month after ad cost, right? So we spend 50,000, we bring them in 250,000. That's 200,000 a month that we're bringing that client in. They're easily going to be able to pay us 10, 12, 15, 20,000 a month if we're bringing them in 200,000 a month, right? So you can make a lot more per client. Now, the next thing, and again, this is something else that's ridiculously powerful about e-commerce, ROAS deals. Okay, so when running ads for e-com brands, and we'll go through advertising later on in this video, you can very accurately track how much was spent and how much was generated directly from your ads. And as a byproduct within the e-commerce niche, you can add on ROAS deals as part of your fee. So what a ROAS deal essentially means is that you take a percentage of the amount of money you generate, the respective client, right? So you may say 4,000 per month plus 15% ROAS. So you automatically get paid that 4,000 a month flat fee. That's what you get paid no matter what. But you also take 15% of the results that you generate. So if you generate a client 100,000 a month after ad cost in a single month, you then take and given that you've got a 15% ROAS deal in place, you then take 15% of that 100,000 because you've generated it. So you take a cut. That means that you're going to have your 4,000 flat fee plus 15,000 in that case, 100,000, 15% of that, 15,000, 4,000 plus 15,000 from one client in 1 month. That's 19,000 in 1 month from one client. Whereas in the local lead gen niche, there's no way in hell that you're going to ever charge a client $19,000 a month comfortably like you can in the e-com niche. And last thing there is that we've got scale with an e-com agency is much easier. Okay, when it comes to scaling any business, less is more, right? So if you can double what you generate per client to double your income, then that's far better than bringing on 2 times more clients, right? So if you can 2x your income from just making 2x per client, that's going to be far more efficient, far more effective for scale than it is going to be doubling your entire client roster. And this is easily doable within the e-commerce niche because not only can you naturally charge more, right, at least 3 to 7x more than local lead gen, but you can also make even more on top thanks to ROAS deals. So that's just a couple reasons why the e-commerce niche is better. If you've listened to that and really understood what I'm going through there is no logical reason as to why you want to go ahead and work with local lead gen. And essentially that's why I've built an entire program that takes agency owners from 0 to like 20K a month in the e-commerce niche. And that's why the success rate of the program is so amazing, because the e-commerce niche, it's almost impossible to not get to 10 to 20K a month with your agency, given that you work hard and you're consistent with it in the e-commerce niche. And it's also why I operate my own agency in the e-commerce niche. You see all these other SMMA gurus and whatnot pushing local business, right? Why don't they push working with real estate agents and dentists and restaurants and gyms and whatnot, yet they run e-commerce agencies themselves. It's like, why are they pushing local lead gen when they're running e-commerce agencies themselves? It's because they don't want other people to join the e-com space, because they know how powerful it is. I kind of flipped the script. I'm showing you guys why the e-commerce niche is by far the best. It's why I run my own agency in the e-commerce niche. It's why these other big gurus run their own agencies in the e-com niche. And it's also exactly the reason as to why you should run your own agency in the e-commerce niche. So let's now that we know the niche that you're going to be working with, okay, let's now understand how you can deliver on the highest level possible for that niche. So there's essentially this concept, right? I'm sure you've probably heard of it, but don't click away from the video just yet. I want to explain it in detail because it's going to massively help you provide a ridiculously valuable service to your clients, which consequently means that you can charge a very high amount for your service because you're going to be extremely valuable to your clients. Okay, so there's essentially this idea of current state and desired state. Everybody's got it, right? Everybody experiences it. And so in order to be able to deliver on the highest possible level for your clients, you must deeply understand their current state and their desired state, right? If you don't understand it, then how can you provide value to somebody, right? If you don't understand where they're at and where they want to go, then how can you be extremely valuable to that person? You don't know where they're at, you don't know where they want to go. How can you be valuable? You physically can't. It's impossible. So you must understand these two things, and you must understand what your niche wants, namely e-com brands, right? You must understand where their current state is and what their desired state is, right? And once you do, you're going to be off to the races. Okay, so essentially what you need to do is dig deep into what e-com founders truly want, right? What are they not happy with right now in their current state, with them running their business day to day right now? What are they not happy with? What keeps them up at night? What makes them, what are they stirring over in bed at night? What are they staring at the ceiling about at night? What keeps them up, right? What makes their palms sweat? What is a daily frustration that they encounter each and every day? Okay, you just need to understand that current state in that depth to truly understand how you can be of value to your clients. Okay, so now that you've asked those questions, you truly understand what your ideal client wants, you have a point A, okay, which is the current state. Now we need to define point B, which is the desired state. So what is it that e-com founders deeply desire? What is it, what's going to change absolutely everything for them? What are they willing to drop their entire bank account on because it means that much to them? What is it? Okay, so now once you've answered those questions, you have a point A and you have a point B, and so you can very easily become very, very, very valuable to these founders because now you know exactly what they want. So all you now need to do is provide that to them. And to be honest, it's not overly difficult to provide an amazing service to clients that's very valuable to them, but it is very difficult to provide a service that is valuable to them. You can provide a valuable service, but it depends on how valuable it is. For example, I know that doesn't make sense, but for example, if you have a brand, okay, and it's at 50,000 a month, if you can add an extra 50,000 a month to that brand's bottom line each and every month via running paid traffic, you're going to double their entire business. That's going to be extremely valuable to that brand at 50,000 a month. Now, let's assume that you deliver the same amount of value, that same 50,000 a month to the client's bottom line, but now you do that for another client who's at 500,000 a month. Now you take them from 500,000 a month to 550,000 a month. It's just not going to be that valuable. Okay, it's just not. So you need to understand what who the prospect is that you're talking to, which means that you understand their current state, and then you must understand their desired state. Where do they want to go? Because what's valuable for this person may not be that valuable for that person. So you need to understand your niche, exactly what type of brand you want to work with. Do you want to work with brands who are at 10,000 a month and triple, 4x, 5x their business, or do you want to work with brands who are at $1 million a month and double their business, or 1.5x their business, right? Increase them by 50%, whatever it is. You need to understand that, and then from there you'll have your current state and your desired state. Okay, so by being extremely valuable to a certain niche, you are going to have no problem signing clients on a high monthly retainer because you are going to be an invaluable asset to them. Okay, and really your agency's job is to simply bridge this gap between your niche's current state and their desired state. That is what your agency's job is. That's what the brands pay you for. Okay, now how do we do that? Well, to be honest, the biggest issue that e-commerce brands have is they know that their product is amazing. They know they have an amazing product. They know that they have a very solid product operation process. They usually have a great sales process. All this stuff's in place. Like I was talking about at the start of the video, all those things that are super important, they're in place. However, they have no way to predictably and profitably scale their brand into the multi 7 and 8 figure range, right? And so us as agency owners, that's where we come in. That's where we bridge that gap. And consequently, we get paid very, very nicely for doing so, as it's a huge problem that we are alleviating for all of these e-com brand owners. Okay, so they have all the necessary foundations in place. They just need to now have the vehicle that's going to take them from where they're at to 100k a month, 200k a month, 300k a month, $500,000, $1 million a month, right? That's where we come in as agency owners. Now, client acquisition. So we now know exactly who our client is. We now know exactly where they're currently at and where they want to go, and we know how we can be of immense value to that client. Now, how do we actually get clients on board, right? How do we turn somebody from complete cold, they have no idea who you are, into a paying client? Well, that kind of funnels down into two ideas, which is booked meetings and turning prospects into clients. So booked meetings is essentially comprised of two parts, okay? The single best way to get booked meetings with e-commerce brands is to collate a list of qualified e-commerce businesses and reach out directly to the owner of the respective brand via email outreach. Okay, so a qualified brand. What is a qualified brand? A qualified brand is one that has all those necessary foundations in place that I talked about before, because remember the importance of those. If that isn't in place, then it's going to be very hard for you to be valuable to your client. It's going to be very hard for you to actually deliver amazing results for your client. So you need to make sure they have those things in place, but they're lacking paid advertising, because that's where you can come in and fill that gap, right? If they've already got amazing paid ads, it's going to be very hard for you to be valuable to them because they're already doing amazingly well, okay? So you want to build that list of qualified brands. And then from there, you want to reach out to them via email, because again, what is the most common way that e-commerce brands communicate? Yes, you've got Slack and other online communications like that, but the biggest way is email, okay? And again, you've got to make sure that you reach out to your ideal customer in the way that's going to resonate with them most. With a local business, probably cold calling is going to be a great way to get clients because that's what they're used to. But e-com, it doesn't work like that. It's email, okay? I'm not going to touch too much on physical email outreach and tips and tricks in this video because I do have a myriad of other videos on this channel. Here are my personal 3 favorite outreach email videos that I've got on my channel. Go ahead, screenshot this page and watch these videos once you've finalized this video because it's going to make you very, very efficient and effective at email outreach. However, moving on, now we have turning prospects into clients. So as a byproduct of email outreach, obviously the goal of that is to get booked meetings, right? So to get a client or a prospect at that point onto a call with you so that you can go through this process right here of turning them, because at that point they're only a prospect, they're not a client, right? So now you want to focus on turning them from a prospect into a client. Well, how do we do that? Well, to be honest, it's the easiest part of the process, okay? If you have done everything up until this point correctly, meaning found the perfect brand, again, that meaning obviously making sure that they're a qualified brand that can actually benefit from your service, they've got the right foundations in place currently, all that type of stuff. You've pre-sold them within your email outreach strategy. Again, that's concepts that I go through in those other videos. You've positioned yourself as an authority, you've proven to the prospect that you can actually get them results, etc. Then physically turn, at that point, physically turning that prospect into a paying client on the sales call is relatively easy, okay? Like it's pretty easy because a client, if a client can see physically firsthand that you are the perfect agency to take them from wherever they're at to where they want to go, meaning if they're currently at 30,000 a month and they want to get to 100,000 a month, if they can see that you are the vehicle to do that for them, they'll give you whatever it is that you want and they'll move forward with you because they know that you're going to be able to add an extra 70,000 to their bottom line each month if that's what they want to do. And so there's all these things that you want to start to do in the process from the first contact that you have to the third follow-up email, the fourth follow-up email, to the sales call itself and whatnot. If you can plot these things in place, that just shows them it's a no-brainer that you can do that for them. Physically turning them from a prospect to a client, it's going to be very, very easy. Now, the other thing though that is important is your offer. So the biggest deciding factor as to whether the prospect will become a client or not is the offer that you propose to them, okay? Does it make sense? Does your offer make sense for the client? Is it irresistible? Does it incorporate urgency? Why should they move forward today and not in like 6-12 months time or even in 2-3 months time? And the other thing is, is it a no-brainer? So these things are super, super important when it comes to your offer. Does it make sense? If you go to a brand who's only making 15,000 a month and you pitch them at a 10,000 a month flat fee, right? So they have to pay you $10,000 a month without any guaranteed results. Well, that just simply, it physically doesn't make sense to a brand who's only making 15,000 a month. 10,000 a month may make sense to a brand who's making 150,000 a month, 200,000 a month, for sure. It's still going to be a big hurdle, and I still think you're going to struggle selling it. You're going to have to be very good at sales to sell just a 10,000 upfront flat fee with no guarantee. But you get my point, right? It needs to make sense. Otherwise, whether they want to move forward or not, they may really, really want to move forward, but they physically can't because they physically don't have $10,000 a month to send to you without no guaranteed return, okay? The other things is such as, is it irresistible? And, about it being a no-brainer as well. Like, it has to be a no-brainer. It has to be irresistible. If it's not, then there's no reason for them to bite the bullet now, to move forward now. And that also ties in, obviously, with urgency as well. So those are a couple of things that you need to ask yourself when it comes to your offer, because it's going to be the make or break. It's going to be the deciding factor as to whether the client will sign on board with you or not. As I said, it doesn't matter how good your emails are. It doesn't matter how good your sales process is. If you make an offer that just simply doesn't make sense, they physically can't move forward. Well, it doesn't matter how much they want to. It doesn't matter. They like genuinely may really, really want to work with you, but if they physically can't, then they're not going to. Okay, and so that's where your offer comes into play. And again, I've got these 2 videos on my channel that really details sales and how to sell clients. The first one, obviously, how I sell all my ecom SMMA clients, and the next one, it's actually a live sales course. So I highly recommend, again, to go ahead and watch those after you've watched this video. Now, finally, we have service delivery and team building. Okay, these two tying together. Okay, so service delivery and team building, they simply go hand in hand. You want to build a team around your service delivery operations because one, it's going to free up a tremendous amount of time for you as the agency owner so that you can focus on higher level IPAs, which is simply income producing activities. And then two, it's actually going to provide your clients with a more valuable service, which means your retention rate is going to increase. You know, if you yourself as an agency owner have got your time split across 19 different tasks each and every day, you're physically not going to be able to dedicate the amount of time needed to each specific client to ensure that they're getting the best possible results that brand can physically get, right? You know, you just physically can't dedicate that amount of time or the necessary amount of time needed to each client. Whereas when you've got a team that their sole job is to run ads for your clients specifically, their sole job is to ensure that each client is getting the best possible results, then it's going to free up time on your end. It's going to alleviate a stress on your end or alleviate a problem that you've got to think about, but also it's going to increase the amount of results, how valuable your service is to the client themselves as well, right? Because you've got a dedicated team member just for that. Okay, now this is basically service delivery. Okay, this chart is really the reason behind why you want to make service delivery as valuable and as profitable and as effective as possible for all of your clients. This is the reason. Okay, so at the top there we've got team, right? As I say, the service delivery and team go hand in hand. So we've got the team at the top. That then goes down to delivers unmatched service, right? So your team's sole focus is to deliver an unmatched service. So your team delivers the unmatched service. Then as a direct result of the unmatched service, it's going to increase client satisfaction. If a client's paying you $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, but you're routinely making them $100,000 a month, $200,000 a month, $300,000 a month return on ad spend, they're going to be pretty satisfied with your service, right? And so as a direct result of them being extremely satisfied, that means that they're going to stay with you for a long period of time because they love what you're doing. They essentially love you as a person because you're making them so much money. So they're going to want to stay with you for as long as possible, which means that they're going to keep on paying you $10,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $15,000 a month, whatever it is, every single month. They're going to keep paying you as long as you routinely deliver, which you'll be able to routinely deliver because your team is routinely focusing on just that task specifically. And so as a direct result of them increasing client retention, they're going to give you a whole heap of referrals because they're going to have a lot of, e-commerce brand owners have a lot of other friends who are also e-com brand owners. And so if they've been working with an agency for 12 months, 18 months, they're going to tell their friends about it because their friends are most likely going to be struggling as well, right? Because all e-com brands or majority of e-com brands experience the same issues. It's the same as agency owners. Majority of agency owners experience the same issues, right? So they're going to tell their friends, which means you're going to get ramped referrals, which means that's got obviously client acquisition is going to get ramped and you're going to be able to sign more clients, which then you push them to the team and then the team delivers an unmatched service and it goes through that same feedback loop. It's just a feedback loop. And once you get the top tier of this feedback loop, which is team down pack, everything else is just a natural byproduct. And those natural byproducts really is the foundation. It's the fuel to running a 7-figure agency. Forget 10,000 a month, look at 80,000 a month, look at 100,000 a month agency. This is what it is. This is what it comes down to. Okay. This is what it comes down to. And you can see there's actually a bit of a divergent there off of delivers an unmatched service, right? So your team delivers an unmatched service, which obviously increases satisfaction and it goes down that route, but also it's going to provide unequivocal proof, right? So you're going to be able to generate all of these case studies from your clients, right? When your team delivers an unmatched service and you work with your team very closely to ensure that you're delivering an unmatched service, when you do that though, you're going to get this crazy proof come through. You're going to get these amazing results, 100,000 spent, 1 million brought in, 50,000 spent, 600,000 brought in, whatever it is, right? You're going to get these amazing case studies that you can then leverage, as you can see on here, right? Unequivocal proof, which means it's going to fuel client acquisition, which means you're going to be able to sign even more clients, and then that in and of itself goes through its own feedback loop, and you've got the bigger feedback loop there. And I mean, that is really the key to running a very successful agency. As I say, this is what I was saying at the start of the video. Yes, this video is going to help you get to 10,000 a month, but to be honest, this is what I'm focusing on at my point in my agency right now at 50,000-60,000 a month, right? It's literally just this, right? Everything else really gets injected into this feedback loop. And once you get this feedback loop down packed, I mean, getting to 50,000 a month for your agency, getting to 10,000 a month for your agency isn't even a question. You can make that from one client, right? So once you get a couple clients on board, you'll be way past 10,000 a month and really getting to 7 figures a month. This is it. This is where it's at. Okay. Now, you're probably thinking, I keep talking about team, right? It's like, team, what does your team do? Who do I hire? And what's their role? Well, this is the role to hire. When you're just starting out your agency, which probably majority of you watching this video probably are either at maybe I don't know, 0 a month definitely, or maybe 5 to 8,000 a month. At that stage, the role to hire, okay, is when you're starting out your agency, 0 to 5,000 a month. The key hire you ought to make is a media buyer. As I mentioned, you want to hire a team that's in charge of service delivery. And until you get to 30,000 a month, that's exactly what a media buyer does. So until you get to around 30-ish thousand a month, 25, 30,000 a month, you don't need any other roles within your agency other than just one media buyer, okay? Because you can quite easily get to 30K a month with just one media buyer. After that, you want to look at a second media buyer, and you can also look at other roles such as a general manager, such as a copywriter, such as a graphic designer and stuff like that. But to get to that point, you just need one media buyer, and that is the role to hire. That's the key role that you ought to hire. Now, a media buyer is someone who's analytical but also creative, okay? They understand how to operate within the Facebook Ads Manager or whatever your paid platform is. You know, maybe you specialize in Google Ads or YouTube Ads or whatever, and they can easily digest the data that they receive from ads and take action upon that data in order to make the ads operate far more efficiently. That's the key, and that's what I mean when I say analytical plus creative, okay? You want them to be able to be analytical in that they can interpret data and they can understand it, they can read it and understand it, okay? So they can look at just a screen full of data and they can read it and understand it. And then from there, you want them to be creative in that they can pull from that data, understand and come up with new ideas, come up with new concepts that they can implement into their client ads, and be creative in a way that they can actually implement. So maybe, you know, it's writing, right? Copywriting, from the data that they can see that these pieces of copy are doing amazingly well. So then you want them to be creative enough where they can go ahead and write more copy that embeds those same ideas that is stemmed from those pieces of copy that does amazingly well. There's no point coming to conclusions from data and not action upon them, because it's, you know, it's like, oh, well, yeah, this ad copy does best. Okay, cool, that's amazing. Well, now we need to go ahead and create more copy like that so we can get even better results. And so your media buyer needs to have the ability to do just that. And aside from ensuring your media buyer is analytical and creative, you also want to ensure they have a strong, that's meant to say initiative, I apologize, but you want them to make sure, you want to ensure that they have a strong initiative and are innately motivated. Because if they don't have any initiative or they aren't innately motivated, then it doesn't matter how good of a media buyer they are, they won't do the work that's necessary in order to rapidly scale your clients, okay? And you know, obviously all of these positions are remote, so you as the boss, you as the owner, and you as the founder are not going to be over your media buyer's shoulder telling them all day every day what to do. They're going to be sat in their room and they're going to have a lot of distractions around them. So if they're not innately motivated and if they don't have their own initiative, then they're not going to be a good fit no matter what their skills are. So that's why I always put initiative, innately motivated, who they are as a person, their personality, stuff of that nature. I always put that on a pedestal because I know that skills can be taught, whereas those traits, it's very, very hard to change them, if not impossible to change them and inject new traits into them that you know, really aligns with what you want to find. So if they've already got those in place, the skills and how to be analytical, how to be creative, or not how to be creative, but how to write copy and all that type of stuff, that can be taught, and that's much easier. But always remember, okay? Remember, anything that doesn't fuel client results in a dramatic way needs to be cut out of your agency. And so if you bring a media buyer on board, that's all well and good, but don't feel as though you're attached to them forever, because if they don't deliver, if they're not good at, you know, if they're not good at their job, they're slacking, they're not motivated, you thought they were, but they're not doing the work required, that's going to take away from fueling client results. That's not going to fuel client results. That's not going to enable your agency to have even better results. And so anything that doesn't fuel client results, anything that doesn't make your client results even better, increase them, more efficient, more effective, got to be cut. And so you need to cut it and you need to move on. Don't ever feel that, you know, just because you brought this media buyer on board, you're now stuck with them for 5 years. It's not the case. Make sure you rotate through a lot till you find the perfect one, okay? And again, I've got a couple other videos on the channel going through Facebook ads itself and how to hire the perfect media buyer, okay? Highly recommend you watch how to hire the perfect media buyer. Go through obviously hiring in a lot more deep detail. And also I've got a 55-minute video detailing e-commerce Facebook ads and how to run them at the highest level, just like we do for our own clients. And I'm probably going to be coming out with a 2021 version of this as well, but go ahead and watch these videos again after you finish this one. So to be honest, that's all. Right? That's it. That's all that's to it. Okay, that's everything that goes into a 10,000 monthly recurring revenue social media marketing agency. And to be honest, that's what goes into an 80,000 a month one as well. As I said before, you know, the 7-figure agency, it's the same concepts. The only difference is that each concept is obviously more detailed and things get built out more and whatnot. But to be honest, that's the skeleton to a fiercely scalable agency. That's literally it. Exactly what I've gone through. You know, there's no secret. There's no get rich quick scheme or anything like that. This, you know, it does take work. It's a business at the end of the day that we're building, and any business requires work, it requires guts, it requires blood, sweat and tears, all that stuff. You know, it's very, very ugly at times, but once you do it, once you break through the seal, it's more than worth it. You know, once you get your first 3 to 4 clients, once you're, you know, 6 to 12 months deep within your agency, I promise you there's no other business model like it. You know, it's truly the most blissful experience. However, it does take work and consistency. I will say it does take work and consistency. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but if you're willing to push through, then I promise it's all worth it at the end. It's amazing business, and this is really the skeleton to how you can build that amazing business, how to build an agency. This is the 4 things: product market fit, client acquisition, service delivery, team building. That's it. So as I say, I hope you found value in this video. As I mentioned near at the start of the video, I am running a new year flash sale for the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program, which basically takes all of this, what I've gone through, and breaks everything down into its deepest detail and covers everything that you need in order to get your agency to 10 to 20K a month. And I know that because there's multiple members of the community who are at 6 figures, 10,000 a month, to be honest, in the Quantum Leap Ecom Agency program. It's a hygiene standard. And there's also multiple students who are at, you know, multiple 6 figures as well, so past 16,000 a month, which is 200,000 a year, with the best student right now at 45-ish thousand a month in monthly recurring revenue. So as I say, new year flash sale, 20% off. It's the cheapest you'll ever be able to join the program. Click the first link in the description. It's going to take you to the program enrollment page. Go ahead and enroll, and I'm very, very excited to get you part of the community. And apart from that, I hope this video alone gave you a lot more context in terms of how you can start and scale a 10,000 per month agency. Really, all that's left now, to be honest, you know, if you consume this video, you consume all of my YouTube content. That, bear in mind, it's all for free. You know, you go ahead, you go back through this video and watch the other ones that I've recommended, the other videos that I recommended throughout this one, and you really digest it and understand it. At that point, all that's left is for you to just take action and be consistent with that action over a long period of time. Make iterations, evolve, and you'll be at 10,000 a month. You know, 10,000 a month seems like such a big number, but once you do it, you realize how small it is and how easy it is to do, especially in the ecom SMMA space. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, take that split second out of your day, please to smash the like button. I massively appreciate it, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. With that being said, I will see you in the next video.